A yogic lifestyles involve consciously shaping our attitude, habits, and general ways of life. Let's master the yogic lifestyle of eating, sleeping, and thinking, and find out the appropriate ways of being yogi by asking questions by our experts in the panel discussion on the topic Yogic Living. Eric Mankius, disciple of Shri Muktananda Maharaj, Divine Life Society, India. He is yoga teacher since 1975, professor of yoga of the United Nations Organization, Santiago de Chile, for 40 years, founder of the Chilean Yoga Association, founder and director of Advaita School Chile. It's a school recognized by Yoga Alliance International India. He is also a teacher trainer of teachers and instructors of Purna Yoga from 1990. It's my pleasure to invite and introduce Sanitar Selena, a yoga student. She began her yoga journey in her childhood by learning yoga practices from her father. Sanita continued to practice and learn yoga from teachers in Latvia, Europe, India, Canada, and USA. In Luxembourg, she met the yoga master Andre Rail. The meeting resulted in a continuous Svadhyay and further study of Nidra Yoga in France and Romania. And it also opened the doors for introducing the teachings of Andreji to other yoga students in Latvia. After receiving a teacher training certificate from Shivananda Yoga Vedanta Center, Uttarkashi, India, she has been given regular group classes and individual sessions of yoga practices, indoor, outdoor, and online. She has also been involved in local community projects in Latvia and working with NGOs promoting happy lifestyles. Stress management, mindfulness, healthy nutrition, physical activity, mental and emotional well-being among various target groups, inspired by her Sanskrit studies with Dr. Sunita Patil and by her sadhana, Sanita co-translated the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali into Latvian language. In the panel, we also have with us Ms. Li Wei Cheng. She's an intuitive healer, certified holistic health counselor, and body work therapist with over 25 years of experience in the field of natural and holistic healing. Her practice in Qigong and Tai Chi began in the temple in Singapore with her mother during her adolescence. She was initiated into transcendental meditation in 1975. She has combined her innate abilities in healing with personal mystical experiences and academic studies of the phenomena and practices. Her certification include accredited undergraduate programs in cross-cultural healing, creative writing, language for healing, massage therapy, vibrational medicine, Reiki mastery, and magnified healing. She is presently writing and developing the concepts, themes, and coordinating the establishments of healing center in the Pacific Rim. I welcome our next guest, Ms. Alejandra Gibbelman from Bogota, Colombia. She has been practicing yoga for 20 years and teaching it for more than 10 years. She started teaching in Colombia in poor neighborhoods to kids and women with social challenges. Life gave her the gift of being connected to the business world in France, where she lives currently, and she realized that yoga was a very powerful tool to help people in its totality, different environment to the one she was used to while teaching yoga. It wasn't about doing yoga but being yogic at every single action at work. Today she uses the Yamas and Niyamas to help people think differently in the business world. But she also continues her work helping in an NGO in Colombia. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, Convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomer is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, friends. Namaste. We acknowledge your presence, Sanita ji. We acknowledge your presence, Carolina ji. We acknowledge your presence, Alejandra ji. We acknowledge your presence, Live ji. And we acknowledge your presence, Yogi Eric ji. and our wonderful audience from different parts of the world. We acknowledge your presence too. Today, we are going to discuss on a very important topic, yogic living. As yoga is not only art and science, it is also the way we live. So, we have practitioners and teachers and the students of yoga today in our expert panel. So, let me begin with Sanita ji. Sanita ji, when it comes to yogic living, what does it mean for you? When we say yogic living, what does that mean to you?
When I think of a yogic living, I would definitely start with Yamas and Niyamas. These are the 10 10 commitments, 10 10 ways of how we can live according to Patanjali Sutra. And there are 5 yamas, 5 niyamas, and you have already talked a lot about it during the conference, but that would be really the basis of yogic living.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanita ji. Yogi Eric. Eric ji, when we talk about yogic living, what does it mean for you?
Carolina, ¿cuál es la pregunta?
¿Qué significa para ti vivir en el yoga? Vivir el yoga.
Para mí es una actitud de vida que comprende principalmente la actualización de valores de verdad, justicia, belleza, como las aspiraciones nobles humanas, y que eso se presente en la vida cotidiana, en el día a día, con la familia, los hijos, la pareja, la sociedad en la cual vivimos.
For me, it's a way of life. It's a way of life with kindness, with love, with sharing, with our family, our friends, and in all our lives, we live always yoga.
Thank you. Liveji, you have been practicing, teaching, helping people with this. What is yogic living for you?
Well, for me, it's the embodiment of all the lofty, esoteric, spiritual principles and the rhetoric, and really bringing it into the body, into the heart, into the mind, and especially into the breath and into everyday living. And I feel that yogic living is practical spirituality, so that we bring this into the world and in service to humanity. So that to me is living the truth, living the compassion, living the kindness, and living our soul purpose on this planet. And each one of us has one.
Thank you. Alejandra ji, the same question to you. What is yogic living for you?
Well, I do agree with what people say here, but personally, it's to be present. It's just to be present with your body, as Wei Qingli said, present with your emotions and your heart and with your thoughts. And when you're present, when you're aligned, then you're going to be aware of the divine, and every action is going to be towards service all the time. So yogic living for me is to be present and then being to service.
Thank you, Alejandra ji. So once having understood what does yogic living means to us, second big question is, we are living in a very competitive world where at times one wins at the cost of other. Many times it becomes a win-lose game. I win, you lose. How come we inculcate this yogic living, kindness, loving, sharing, compassion, these virtues in people? So let me ask Sanita ji, even yamas and niyamas represent my responsibility towards others, not doing ahimsa, not stealing something that belongs to other. How should we begin installing this in people?
I believe this is about the inclusion of every single member of the community. And it is very important to bring these values in the community and to share them between the members and really make people feel to be included, to have this sense of belonging which unites all of us.
Thank you. Yogi Ericji, how can we install these qualities in people?
Eric,
¿Sí?
acá lo que están hablando en general es dentro de este mundo competitivo en el que vivimos, cómo transmitimos esta forma de vivir de los yogis, cómo compartes tú este conocimiento de tu vida, este amor, esta relación con los otros, cómo lo llevas hacia los demás.
Con el ejemplo. Con el ejemplo, no hay otra manera que la acción cotidiana que uno tiene, que refleje eso que uno piensa y dice. ¿No? Que no sea solo un discurso, que sea una acción concreta que uno hace. En definitiva, es el ejemplo.
Eric says that the way that to share this living in yoga is with the example. Not only we can talk, but the way we can live. Then the behavior in our day, all the time, that it's transmitted to another people and sharing with another.
Thank you. As Yogi Eric said, be the change that you want to see in others. Mahatma Gandhi mentioned, be the change that you want to see in the world. Indeed, lead by example, Yogi Eric said. As they say, preach Bible and speak nothing. Let your behavior do the work.
Yeah.
Liveji, how can we install these values? Values of compassion, kindness. And you mentioned one important word is purpose of life. How can I utilize yogic techniques to know my purpose of life?
Carolina?
But this is for Wei Ching?
Yes, Liveji, please speak.
Es para Wei Ching.
It's for me, Wei Ching?
Yes, Wei Ching, sorry.
I'm sorry, I missed my name being called. Yes, I feel that it is to speak from the heart and with truth and with compassion, you know, because we can speak truth in many different ways, especially now in this time of trying to live more truthfully in this current affairs with a lot of opposing forces, political, medical, and you know, it's a difficult time right now. It's Kali Yuga, right? And we are trying to live the yoga in these times. And we are incarnated at this time to live the light and to live the truth. So how do we do it? Your question is, Dr. Vikranji, is how do we live it? And besides embodiment and by example, and to speak the truth. And we have to, I believe we really have to, especially in businesses. And I know you are consulting in business, as I am too, many CEOs, and I do corporate consulting. It's a difficult path, dharma, for us to really take a deep breath, go in the heart, and, you know, go also into the Muladhara and to really feel ourselves and to say, what is our truth that we can express that to make a change? It's not just living, because sometimes people don't see it. I think it's really time, I feel it's time for us to be verbal, but in a way that is honoring and respecting all sides of opposing forces, the yin yang and all the polarities in this world. So I feel this is a call for each one of us to do so, besides living our truth and living the yogi way.
Thank you. Alejandra, you mentioned about to be in the moment, to remain aware. How can yoga contribute, and how yogic way I can be in the moment?
Thank you. Well, when you're aligned, when you're present, then you cannot lose or miss any life opportunity. When you're aligned, then you just feel like miracles happening. So it's something that you just can't miss. Then when you're aligned and you're connected to the divine, you have this this drive of serving people. And because you're serving to your community or your friends or the world, then you get out of this role of being a victim, right? So when you're serving for a moment, you just know that there's something you have to do, that's some kind of mission, and you're connected to the divine. So you're in this yogic living, you know that you can get away from your ego for a moment and start serving. So, you know, it's a lot of benefits. First, you don't miss opportunities. Then you are getting out of your victim side. And at the end, you're just growing, you're evolving. So I think that's, for me, those are a good package of benefits practicing yogic living.
When you use the word aligned to what?
Well, for people in the business world, as Wei Ching said, sometimes it's hard to talk about the divine or talk about yoga. So you start just saying that you have to be aligned with your body, your emotions, and your thoughts. And then once they start feeling that they're aligned with the three bodies, their breathing is going to bring something magical. And you just, you know, you can't explain exactly what, you know what is going on, but you cannot put it into words. Otherwise, sometimes they're going to be freaking out. But you know that it's the divine that is manifesting when they're aligned. And that is, you know, it's so powerful.
When we are aligned in our thought, speech, and action, then we feel more empowered. And she said that miracle happens. So, Sanitaji, how in Yamas and Niyamas, such great principles are given. Even I want to be aligned. I want to speak what I feel like. But then I feel if I speak what I feel like, it will have negative impact on my relationships. It may not have let me get the next promotion, or I may lose the project in hand. So at times I would like to change the fact. I would like to speak the way which may not be speaking the truth in order to gain short-term benefits. How will you motivate such people to follow Yama and Niyama when they see immediate benefit? By not following Yama and Niyama. Anybody from the group may pick up. Or Sanita, you would like to begin, then she can.
Yes, probably I didn't get the question exactly.
Okay,
so
okay. I repeat. Not following Yama and Niyama gives me immediate benefits many times. So how can I convince somebody to follow Yama and Niyama, because it is difficult to follow, and not following are giving me immediate benefits?
Yeah, right. It is about the longer benefit, and it is about the benefit of how will you feel at the end of the day, not just right now. And as the previous panelist mentioned, it is also linked to the sensations in the body and also our feelings. And whenever we don't speak truth or we do some other not rightful things, then it also feels in our body, and at the end of the day it could also do some harm, and also kind of psychosomatic. It could come out as the physical illness as well. So probably these could be things which would motivate people.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Sanita ji, what you said is really very important. She says that though it may appear like you may get immediate benefits by not following Yamas and Niyamas, but immediately you will feel a dissonance within yourself when your thoughts, speech, and actions are not aligned, as Alejandra ji said. You will feel a dissonance inside. it will create stress. This stress may manifest in your body also. It may lead to illness also. So there will be immediate losses also that you will face if you don't follow Yamas and Niyamas. So Eric J, when it says, I wish to follow Yamas and Niyamas, and I lead by example, as you said. So how me leading as an example can help others also to learn how to have a yogic living?
Ya. Están haciendo una vinculación entre vivir en la vida yogi y Yamas y Niyamas, que lograr un beneficio inmediato a través de ello puede ser un poco complicado, y no es inmediato, sino que se logra a través de no sentir que no se está haciendo daño al otro, genera no somatizas, no enfermas. Y acá la vinculación con eso, a pesar de que esto pueda ser un poco difícil, ¿cómo haces tú, Eric, para liderar un grupo a través de tu ejemplo? ¿Cómo ayudas a las otras personas? ¿Cómo enseñas a las otras personas?
Primero, los actos nobles son los que ennoblecen el alma y nos acercan a Dios. Eso es lo primero. Lo segundo tiene que ver con lo que están hablando respecto del Yama y Niyama. Es un consejo para lo que se llama la acción correcta, la acción ética, ¿no? En comparación con la acción fruitiva, es decir, esa acción egoísta que solo pretende mi propio beneficio. La acción correcta, que fundamenta el Dharma en definitiva, tiene que ver con una acción correcta, lo que se debe hacer, ¿vale? Y eso no necesariamente es lo que me conviene, lo que me gusta, con lo que gano algo. Pero eso no puede ser de otra forma que uno haciéndolo. Es decir, uno debe hacerlo, no es un discurso. Entonces, cuando se pregunta cómo lideras a los demás, es decir, como referente para los demás, el único referente es lo que uno hace. Por eso digo, la acción son las acciones nobles, las que ennoblecen el alma y nos acercan a Dios. La vida es un acto. A eso apuntan los Yamas y Niyamas, un compromiso.
Okay. Eric says that the noble act ennoble the soul, and of this way we get to God. And about Yamas and Niyamas, the advice, it's doing the right behavior, the just action, the ethic action, in compare with the selfish action. Then we are going to try to doing the correct action, because of this way we get Dharma. Normally we do not do the things that we want, of the things that we like, but the just action, the correct action, the correct behavior. And there's no way to show this way but only with our own behavior. It's by the example that we can show to another the right way to get God. And all life, it's an act, it's a behavior. Then that's all that Eric tried to explain.
Thank you. So Eric G said that following this selfless path is the path of Dharma, and everything in this universe actually seems they are following Dharma. So even human beings should also follow dharma as nature follows its own dharma. So what is my swadharma? What exactly am I incarnated for? Let's ask Waiching Ji. You mentioned about in Kali Yuga, it is difficult to know what exactly is my purpose of life. I feel my purpose of life is going to Las Vegas, having some gambling, earning lots of money, going places, doing all the fun activity. Is it not my purpose of life? And if it is not, then what is the purpose of life? And whatever it is, how can I know it?
Yes, good question. I actually feel that everybody is expressing their purposes, whatever it is, like your example of going to Las Vegas. And therefore, for people like us and for everybody, it's compassion and acceptance and tolerance. And it's just embracing everything and everybody in the larger tantra, in the true tantra of things, is to acceptance and not to create too much judgment in our minds and opinions of people and the situations, even in these difficult times, because not everybody's on the same path, right? And the different times and different matrix or soul codes, or you might call it that soul purpose, is that even the dark side have their purpose here, and it's playing itself out right now in the dark and light forces perfectly actually. So if people like us, if we are to hold the light and be discerning, I feel that's the word discernment, is to feel in ourselves what is being called in our soul for our own evolution, for our own refinement, and leave it to the others. And you know that we cannot force people, coerce, impose on others, because that is going outside of our own center, our own evolution, and our own alignment with the divine. And so I love that word. And also then we lose our magic, our magical and our mystery of our evolution if we do that. And that's too high price to pay to have someone do what our will is, like the ego. So I feel that each one of us in meditation, in deep contemplation, we have to feel our own evolutionary moments, our path, and to evolve, to blossom, and allow others. So I feel like the magic can happen when we send the light and love to others. And I've seen it, of course, in healing, and allow people to evolve along their own path.
Thank you. So Waiching Ji mentioned that self-inquiry is an important tool to know your soul purpose. We all are so uniquely different. And that's why everybody has its own soul purpose. Even dark sides also have a significant impact on life, and they are also taking us indirectly towards our soul purpose only. Understanding this, let's ask from Alejandra Ji that you mentioned once you are aligned, you don't feel victimhood, ego goes down, and you serve the community and you have that feeling of servitude. So can you explain it a bit, how feeling of victimhood goes down when you are aligned?
Well, something that I practice with people I work, and I do practice myself, is I imagine myself when I was 7 years old, and I ask people to go back to their inner child. So when we do this exercise, if we think about children, they are always listening to their bodies, and they're so connected. If they're thirsty, if something hurts, so they are very present, right? And then children, they're always curious about life, about nature, about the other person, and they're not into the selfish world like we adults. Sometimes we are so polluted and we want to achieve things. And kids, they just want to get to know each other, play, have fun, and be loved. And children, they have the notion that time actually it's different to the one that we live. So for adults, sometimes we are work where we're so into our stress and how complicated is my life, then we have the impression that the day lasted only like 10 minutes. Like, oh my gosh, I just finished my day. I didn't do a thing. But kids, they have the impression that actually one day can last a week or maybe more because they're so present that they really enjoy the moment. And besides all that, children, they tend to be generous, like really, truly generous. Sorry. So if you know, when you're in the corporate world and you try to talk about Yamas or Niyamas, you just start, working with, just go to your inner child. And that helps a lot. It's something very simple. It's a very simple exercise. I do it myself. And you realize how powerful it is to just go to the basics.
Alejandra ji said, go to the basics. When we were in our inner child, there may be certain experiences of life which has crafted what we are today. Seeing those things from a fresh perspective may help us to come out of our feeling of even victimhood. Because when I was a child, when I suffered, probably that time I was not that much matured. But today, when I see the same incident with a matured mindset, I will understand that things happen this way. And it will help me to come out of my victimhood feeling. That's a profound, Alejandra ji. Thank you for sharing with it. Sanitar ji, when we say that by not following Yamas and Niyamas, will have lots of issues in life. And that's why it is expected for everybody to follow Yamas and Niyamas. Now we together will try to make a yogic lifestyle for our audience. Let's begin from the beginning. What should be there in yogic lifestyle? We understood the values. We have already covered the values. We have covered love, kindness, sharing. All these values are there. Now let's talk about what acts they should do in their daily life. Then it will be called as a yogic living. Fine, you are living a yogic life. So what are the indicators that a person is living a yogic life? Let's begin from the beginning. From the morning itself, let's talk about what time should I get up if it is in my hands to have a yogic life. And after getting up, what should I do? Let's be very specific and very simple.
Yes. First of all, we also have to remember that when we speak of a yogic living, then it's adapted to these times, this place, this time, and specific constitution of the person, also according to Ayurveda. So maybe the same schedule will not be relevant for everybody, but there could be some basic principles to be followed. So I can speak of myself, and then if someone can add something. So first of all, when getting up, I tend to get up quite early in the morning, usually before the sunrise. But here in Latvia, we have those 4 seasons. And in the summertime, right now, in the summer solstice, the sunrise is really early. So usually not in the summer, not like getting up at 2 a.m. That would be a bit too harsh. But during other periods of the year, yes. Then doing some meditation. And also there is some kind of minutes of a gratitude, because gratitude is also very important part in yogic living. Also moving away from this victimization. When once you feel grateful, you don't feel as a victim anymore. So and then afterwards some simple asana and some pranayam practice.
Perfect.
And then go to breakfast and then the daily routine.
That's nice. Thank you. Thank you for starting our yogic day. She said, get up before sunrise, maybe, and it depends on your body type also and the place of the world you are living. But yes, get up early, do some meditation, have asana, pranayama, do some gratitude, think of things you are grateful about. So this is how you begin your day. And then how should I be with others? If I'm living a yogic life, then how should I be with others? Yogi Eric Ji. I'm leading a yogic life. Very specifically, how should I behave with my relatives, with my people around me? How should I behave?
Ya. Acá están hablando de la vida del yogi en lo cotidiano, de cómo lo hace en su rutina. Entonces la pregunta anterior se refería a, fuera de los valores de amor, de caridad, ¿cómo es el día del yogi normalmente? ¿A qué hora se levanta? Entonces Sanitar Selena señaló que ella se levantaba muy temprano, salvo los días de verano, cuando ya amanece demasiado temprano, entonces es imposible levantarse a la hora que sale el sol. Pero normalmente trata de hacerlo así. Después hay un momento de meditación, de gratitud, de pranayama. Y entonces acá la siguiente pregunta para ti es ¿cómo este comportamiento del yogi lo transmites a las personas con las cuales convives? Con tus hijos, con tu familia, con tus alumnos, alumnas en este caso, en el cotidiano.
Bueno, de lunes a viernes me levanto muy temprano, guardo silencio y luego comienzan las clases. Y en esa clase es una forma de enseñar a los otros de que la actividad que dura 1 hora empieza en silencio, termina en silencio. Y entre tanto se hacen ejercicios respiratorios, de focalización de la atención, ejercicio físico, hay un momento en que hay un descanso o relajación, ¿no? Que es el nidra en definitiva, y después terminan en silencio meditando. ¿Vale? Esa es una secuencia que tiene por objeto entrenar al sujeto en una cuestión muy básica que tiene que ver con que la percepción y la conducta deben entrenarse para que la percepción sea la adecuada y la conducta sea atingente y proporcionada y que resuelva las situaciones presentes. Ese es el entrenamiento. Entonces, se hacen varias clases durante el día. Entre tanto, tengo tiempo para estar con mi hija. Yo vivo solo con mi hija, que es la menor, de 16 años ahora. Los otros son mayores, ya tienen su vida. Y entre tanto, tengo que cuidar la casa, tengo que limpiar la casa, ir al supermercado, y también tengo relación con otros alumnos que me llaman y hay que darles el tiempo para conversar de su vida cotidiana, ¿no? De cómo resuelven la vida y cómo los acompaño en cuanto a resolver las situaciones de la vida. Y después en la tarde continúa con lo mismo, ¿no? Entonces yo vivo bastante solitario, ¿no? Porque necesito bastante tiempo para guardar silencio, ¿no? Tiempo largo de silencio. Y los fines de semana, la gente que manifestó interés por meditar, los invito a que de las 8 de la mañana a las 2 de la tarde hagamos, es decir, de las 8 de la mañana a las 10 de la mañana, durante 2 horas, meditamos juntos, ¿vale? Para que la meditación no sean los 5 minutos, sino una cosa en serio, para que después se proyecte a que la persona medite 3 horas diarias. Entre tanto, hago lo que hace toda la gente. Voy al supermercado, limpio la casa, me ocupo de mis mascotas, etc. Lo que es como
in the interest of time, we will need to start translating.
Yes.
Ok. Ahora te dio el tiempo para traducir. Thank you. Eric, divide the week between Monday to Friday and weekend. Monday to Friday, they wake up early and stay in silence for a time. Then we begin the classes. And in the classes is a way to teach, to training this silence, the attention, and doing physics exercises. Then we rest in nidra. Then we take focus in an object and try to meditate. Then, because the principle is connect the attention with the correct conduct, the correct act, the correct behavior, and do the right things to attend this perception. Then, with the first time of class is 2 a.m., they care of their child, a daughter. She has 16 years old. Share the house, clean the house, go into supermarket, and he takes some time to have a chat with friends about life, people who need some kind of guidance for their lives. And 2 p.m. it's the same. Classes, time to take a time of silence. And at weekend, they, from 8 until 10, they share a time for a meditation with all people that want to share with him. But because the idea is take it seriously, the meditation, and 3 hours a day minimum. And he said there his life is so in solitude. He's basically is alone all the day with this thought, or in meditation, or in silence.
Thank you. Thank you. Vaichinji, having understood what Dr. Eric Ji said, Yogi Eric said, he said it is important to be in silence also. What additional attributes, when I go to even office and I'm living a yogic life, I'm facing someday profit happens, sometimes it's loss, sometimes people are behaving according to me, sometimes they are not, lots of triggers. In a yogic life, how should I deal with these triggers in my office, in my professional life?
Okay, I have a very simple practice and tip, very practical, is the communion of the soul. So usually when I do this counseling and consulting, I just tell people, and myself, I practice this, and it really is so effective, because this is the time of yoga between the soul and the physicality, our personalities. So this is that the moment we come back into our bodies, is that when we take the first breath, and so we come back to the basics, we speak the breath. So when we take the first breath in the morning, and this has helped a lot of my business clients, is that I just tell them, try not to turn on the alarm clock. Spend as much time as possible with the self, coming into consciousness, into our physicality and our minds, with the breath, and connect with the soul, the Atman, or whatever we want to call it, and really feel out the soma, the intelligence of our bodies, the cells, and our consciousness. What is the soul trying to tell us? And many people can actually solve business issues this way. Because if they have a problem and adversity or conflict in the business, since we're talking, you're asking me the question about that, is that so many people have solved their issues in this deep contemplation before even thinking about an issue, is that the feeling in the body, the soul, the soma, is already giving an answer, a solution to the day. And then to envision what the day might want to become based on the, what we call the iching, the intention of the mind and the desire. Where does that come? Whether it's to make a lot of money, or it's to be fair to all the employees, or there's a difficult positioning, and how we can take it out into the world. And then when we are ready with that, because I feel that in meditation, I am a strong believer of flow and rhythm. So, and so every day is different. Every day the soul has a different message for us. And so we feel that the guidance is coming in at this very precious time. And sort of like coming out and sometimes trying to go back into meditation when the mind is very, very active. So this is the way that we can just meditate for 1 half hour, whatever, 1 hour, and then take that into the world. So that's my practical tip.
Thank you very much. Alejandra ji, this is how we started the day. We lived the day. We went to office. Now the time is to go back to the bed. So how should I end my day the yogic way?
Well, I will, to end the day. Actually, it's more to leave the day because the day never ends. Somehow your energy is always there. So I will just give you 5 tips that I give to my clients over time, and I do practice myself. First is, as I said before, every time that you're very harsh on yourself, especially in the professional world, try to remember that you're 7 years old, that you're learning, that you're curious, and you have to be positive all the time. And be positive and curious about the person that's working with you as well. You can see them as someone who's 7 years old. So you're not going to be very negative or very resentful about this person. So that's one tip. Remember that you're always learning that you're a child. Then when I'm drinking water, that it can be, during the whole day, I try to visualize, because I'm a very visual person. So I'm visualizing that the water is flowing through my throat, and it's like nourishing me, inspiring me, giving me all the prana. So I can do it, before going to bed or when I wake up, like every moment that you're feeling that, and you can breathe because you're at a meeting. So drink your water and visualize it for a moment. It's nourishing you. Okay, so second tip. Then the third tip is when you're very stressed and after, your day at the office, just lay down on the ground and be thankful for whatever you're feeling, for whatever your emotion or your experience was during the day. Just lay down and be connected to Mother Earth for a moment and be thankful. It's really, really helpful. And fourth, as Wei Qingli said, breathing. So at least 3 cycles per day, I recommend to breathe in from the sole of the feet to the top of your head. Then exhale, top of the head, sole of the feet. Do it 3 times, and then 3 cycles during the day. So you don't have to wait to be stressful or panicking before a meeting. You can do it at every time. You can go to the toilet, say, excuse me, and then you can do your breathing and coming back. And, it's a way to keep you centered. And the last one is the karma yoga. Like whatever you're doing, think about service. Go back to the notion of being into service. And I honestly believe that our purpose here is to serve. And that's what we're doing here during this meeting. We're serving. So that's it. 5 tips.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, respected guests from different parts of the world and the audience who are watching us. So we had a beautiful discussion over yogic living. And the discussion started with Sanitar ji mentioning the importance of yamas and niyamas. We understood in this discussion that when you follow yamas and niyamas, you are aligned. As Alejandra ji said, you are aligned, your body, thoughts, and emotions are aligned. You feel less victimhood, your ego goes less, and you feel more to serve others. In the words of Dr. Eric, Mr. Eric, you actually are aligned with dharma and you do selfless actions. And how to propagate this, be the example. Lead by example, be the change that you want to see in the world. And how should I lead my life? Yama and Niyama's way. Wei Qingji mentioned that we all are so unique. We all have our own soul purpose. Self-inquiry is the way which will help us to know the purpose of my existence, incarnation. Even the dark sides of life also have something to contribute in this. And she also mentioned about Mooladhara and even chakras, how they can contribute in our understanding about self. When you don't follow Yamanas Niyamas, then Sanitar ji said, it will create dissonance, stress, fear, guilt, even physical illness. So following Yamas and Niyamas has got bundle of benefits, not following has got bundle of disbenefits, and that's why we should lead a yogic life. Then how should I begin a yogic day? Sanitar ji mentioned that if you want to begin a yogic day, then get up early, depending on your geography, geometrical position, but try to get up early, do meditation, gratitude meditation, asanas, and some pranayama. Yogic Eric said, have some time for silence also. Do Nindra Yoga. Yogi Eric also mentioned the importance of balancing the family life and the work life. Even it is important to give due time to your friends also, as Yogi Eric mentioned. So do balance in your work, professional life, and social life, and have some silent time for yourself also. Vaichenji added in that you should also think about communion with the soul. Whenever you get confused or whenever you are confronting any moment of making any decision, focus on your breath. Be silent, connect with your soul, and see what your soul is replying to you. You may do it in morning, you may do it in afternoon, whenever you feel like. You can do it anytime, any day, any moment. And it will help you to connect with your soul, and you will get tremendous answers. Alejandra ji said that you should leave the day, in her words, rather than ending. You should leave the day, but while leaving the day, assure that you have lived the day enough. And how to live the day enough? She said, keep learning. It keeps you fresh. Yogic living is learning. Be curious, just like a 7-year-old child, and see others also as a 7-year-old child. That way you will forgive them soon. And be curious about them also. Be interested if you want to be interesting, as they say. When you are drinking water, feel it is nourishing you. When you are breathing, feel it is nourishing you. Take a pause and really feel it. It will start nourishing you. When you feel stressed, lay down, connect to the Mother Earth, and think for all the things that you are grateful for. 3 cycles of deep breath from feet to head, 3 times a day. If you do, it will revitalize. And at the end of the day, throughout the life, let's do karma yoga, serving without any expectation of results, what we are doing right now, doing our own dharmas. Thank you very much, friends, for being here and enlightening United Consciousness and the audience from different parts of the world. Thank you. Namaste.